So recently, I've become an owl. Just kidding. But I just suddenly became super curious about the difference between the four types of who's. There's who, whom, who apostrophe s, and who's with an e. I'm not like dumb. I knew of all of them already, but I just thought, do I know how to use them? And my answer to that was no. So I decided to figure it out. So the first type of who is simply who. And I'm pretty sure you guys all know what it is and how to use it if you're a fluent English speaker because you probably use it like every day. But if I explain to you what who is, it'll make it easier to understand what whom is. So you all know about the subjects and objects of a sentence, right? The subject is the thing doing the verb in the sentence, and the object is the thing being acted on. For example, I ate food. I is the subject, ate is the verb, and food is the object. You use who as the subject of a sentence. So, for example, like, who ate food? Who is the subject? Who is the one doing the action? Well, instead of being the subject, whom is used to refer to the object of a sentence. In the previous example, for who, we use the sentence, who ate food? But if we wanted to rewrite that and make who the object, we could say, like, the food was eaten by whom? And replace who with whom. Hopefully that makes sense, but that's like an uncommon sentence. So a more common example would be like, to whom is this letter addressed? So the subject of that sentence is the letter, the verb is, and the object is whom. Apparently, a lot of people think who apostrophe s is used for possession, like whose book is this? And honestly, I used to think that too because I didn't even really know about the word whose with an e. But the purpose of the apostrophe is to combine two words, right? Like that's what a contraction is. And in the case of who apostrophe s, it combines who with is or who with has. So when you say whose book is this, you're basically saying who is book is this or who has book is this. The correct usage of whose is just shorten who is or who has. So for example, who's the one eating my food? That would be who is the one eating my food? The correct way to ask whose food is this is to use the word whose with an E. And I know there's no noticeable difference when you say it out loud. Like, I feel like I sound really strange right now because I'm just saying whose and whose over again with no difference because there's audibly no difference. But it's like marginally, it's like 1% more important in writing if you actually care about being like, ooh, technically grammatically correct. Like, that's where the real difference like actually lies. So we can fix the sentence we used above by replacing whose with whose with an E. So we say, whose book is this? Or whose food is this? But anyway, that's the actual difference between who apostrophe S and whose with an E. I kind of just wanted to talk about this because I'm a massive nerd when it comes to writing, and that's probably the only reason why I actually care about using proper grammar. Like, I just love reading complex pieces and trying to dissect and understand it. I'm not that good, and reading actual analyses, I'm like, oh, it suddenly makes sense. But I couldn't come to those conclusions on my own. But it's satisfying and rewarding to like actually understand it, you know? English has always been my strong suit on like state tests or SAT and the ACT, and it's always been my easiest class. So I like to fall back on it when I feel like I'm having a lot of failures in real life because I can go back to English and be like, yes, I understand this. I'm good at this. This is something I am capable of. Also, I feel like it just kind of looks cool when you know how to use certain terms and then actually use it properly. I'm just such a massive freaking English nerd, guys, and I love to learn ways to speak cooler English. Like, not in a pretentious way, I swear. Just, I love to learn, and there's so many cool niche things about English that really elevate your speaking. I am not making this a good example because I keep saying like and I keep stuttering, but I really love writing. Like, bro, I love freaking writing essays. And you know what my favorite part of writing essays is? It's writing the hooks. The whole point of a hook is to be interesting, right? Like to hook the reader into reading your thing and convince them to want to read more. So that is my most favorite part because it's nothing academic, it's nothing factual, it's nothing like objective. It has to be something interesting. And you're not like revealing you're not revealing much about the paper, but you're revealing like you're not revealing the facts. But what you are revealing is what the person is going to read, and you have to frame it in an interesting way to make them actually want to read it. So How do you do that? You use like methods like figurative language, grammatical methods, you use interesting words, you frame it and format it in a way that makes it actually interesting. And I love doing that. I People kind of praise me for my writing. Like one time I did like a group essay and I wrote a hook for it and people are like, "Wow, this hook is so amazing." I'm like, "Thanks, I wrote it." And so yeah, it's just super rewarding and satisfying. That's why I love writing so much because I love to write interesting things. Honestly, I would love to make more videos about learning figurative language methods or grammatical methods in English. If you guys would be interested in that, like that's something I'd love to yap about. This is one of my longest recordings, so I think that kind of proves it. But yeah, I love to yap about English. So if you guys love to hear me yap about English, let me know, okay?